Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Bucky Ball, Doug. Bucky McMillan 4 years ago was a high school head coach in Birmingham, and today he is taking a university in Birmingham, Samford, to the NCAA tournament. He's a fun team to watch, man. He's got a fun team to put on TV and see play.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Like, look, ball is ball. And the great thing about that level is it can still be about coaching. And don't get me wrong, once we get to, in these conference tournaments and in the NCAA tournament, it is in many ways about coaching. It's the rest of the time in college basketball, and Tio can speak to this even more so from his time on staffs, is a lot of it isn't as much about coaching. So I think you credit obviously Samford for having the vision, and like the guy knows what he's doing. I make the case that high school basketball, AU basketball, like you coach it, AU basketball is a little bit more like speed dating, because your roster changes so much and everything can change. But high school basketball, you have the pressure situations, you still have to execute. Maybe it depends on state in terms of shot clock, but it definitely prepares you. So I'm not surprised, right? The hardest thing in ascending to the college level, especially Division I college level, is acquisition of players. How you recruit, who you recruit, where do you recruit from. But in terms of the actual coaching, guys knows what he's doing, and his teams are very fundamentally sound. Another team don't really want to play him in the March, right? Because they've been good tip to finish. The teams I think you want to play are teams that have had uneven seasons. But Samford's been good. Not a surprise. East Tennessee was a surprise that they were here, and the game was really pretty competitive. But I think Bucky's pretty good. I think he's got a good team that they're able to establish and create not just culture, but a style that's unique, and they know who they are heading into these games. A lot of college teams struggle to find an identity because it changes throughout the year. Perfect example. Like today we had on, and it was on Stadium with Goodman and Gottlieb. Jeff and I had Leon Rice on. And I was asking Leon, like, if I threw on your tape in November and I threw on your tape now, how similar will they look? And he's like, completely different team. I would tell you that Bucky's team looks similar. Maybe not the same. They've evolved some roles have changed some, but that's the difference with this level and without the kind of turnstile that some of the high major programs have.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the thing is, too, retention at that level is so important because a guy has a good year and he's gone. But like he's been able to hang on to Jermaine Marshall. He was able to hang on to AJ State and McCray. And those guys have been there for a while, so they understand the expectations. And they added a guy in a core who's really freaking good. Over the last two games, I want to say he was averaging 26, 27 points a game, 4 offensive boards today. And you asked the question, Rob, can Samford is this style of play conducive to winning in the NCAA tournament? Maybe. They're going to be small. They're going to have to extend that game out and cause turnovers. Well, the good part is they're top 15 in the country in causing turnovers. Live ball turnovers is where they're really good, and they get those too on top of the fact that whenever they're turning you over, they look for threes. They shoot 39.7% from three. This Samford team's good. I talked to Bucky right when he took the job at Samford because that, quite frankly, I want to say it's 3-4 years ago, right when I started doing media stuff, and I was doing a game with them in Furman, and he was piecing rosters together, and I was like, what is it about Samford that made you leave a great high school gig? And he was coaching NBA players. Trent Watford was on his teams. Like he was sending tons of guys to college. It was a great gig. And he's like, well, Samford, I feel like I can win here. I feel like the support and the administration wants to win. And quite frankly, he said, I feel like we're at the top of the league as far as facilities are concerned. So I'm looking at all these things, and I'm going to be able to add pieces periodically. And they got a star in a core. That guy was really good over the last two games. And quite frankly, guys, he's been really good over the course of the entire season. And he had a block today that was up near the corner of the square that they had to go back and review. A big time block. And whenever you're pressuring that much, to have a guy in the back that's able to protect the rim in that manner, pretty impressive.
Yeah, they call that Rob Dauster.
In terms of how they, is that what that is? That's what that is?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Didn't know that.
Top of the square.
It's interesting. Like Okay, so right now, you would think, hey, teams have a long time to prep for them.
Yeah.
The perfect
They don't.
scenario for Samford, okay, is to play on a Thursday. You find out, remember, you find out Sunday night who you play.
Good point.
You pull all the tapes Sunday night. Monday, you come out with, hey, here's kind of a game. They call all the other coaches that played against them, whatever. And then Tuesday, you fly to your site, right?
Mhm.
And Wednesday, you practice and you play Thursday. And the other part to it is this. If they win that second game, again, it's personnel dependent on some level. That
Sure.
second game's really hard to prep for them because very few teams play this way. Look, their style's not the same, but my brother coached for 3 years with Molly Miller at Grand Canyon. And they run and jump, but they also run and jump in the half court. And they practice turns and rotations or whatever. And the idea behind it is like, it's very, very unique. And you don't prep for it. And so in league play, oftentimes the second time around, people can prep for it and you can pick it apart a little bit. And they have to get into kind of standard man-to-man. But pressuring, especially when you have rim protection,
Yep.
just not a lot of people play that way anymore. They just don't. And so this might be the first or one of 3 or 4 games all season where you play an undersized team that pressures and forces you to a rim protector. For Samford, this is going to be like their 35th game where they play this way. So yeah, I think can it? I'm not going to say will it. Again, it's going to be personnel dependent. But there's a lot of these high major teams that, I mean, look, they're not going to play Illinois in the first game,
guys,
but
guys, how about this? In our latest bracket, which dropped literally 6 hours ago, Samford is a 13th seed. You want to know who the 4 teams on the 4 seed line are?
Yes, go hit me.
Auburn, Illinois, Kentucky, and Alabama. Any one of those against Samford would be an absolutely electric basketball game and would be one of those ones where it's like, I cannot wait to see what we have here. That game, the total might end up being like 230 points. It might end up being an NBA total when BetMGM puts it out. But listen, let me tell you about our newest partner for the month of March, Splash Sports, the home of certified community competition, where you get to play against your friends and not the house. Whatever game it is that you are playing, from survivors to tiers to pick X, the safest way to play for real money without the hassle of having to track down deposits or worry about payments is through Splash. They have partnered with PaySafe, the best deposit and payment system in the world, to ensure that money stays in safe hands and is delivered to the right places. To join the Field of 68 Survivor Madness, click the link in our profile below and join in. Entries are $5 a pop with a prize pool of up to $4,500. Winner take all. Our Goodman was able to catch up with Bucky McMillan at the SOCON title game down there in Asheville. Let's hear from that now. Did I say Bucky McMillan? Yeah, Bucky McMillan down there with Jeffy Goodman.
All right, Bucky. 4 years ago, you were a damn high school coach. You're a high school coach. Now you got these around your neck. You're going to the NCAA tournament. Give me your emotions.
It's unreal, but what makes it really special is that all these players that came here years ago had to put their hands in a coach that's never coached a day in college as a head coach or an assistant when Samford was a bottom 30 team in the country. And some of these players, we said that we would do this before they graduated. And on their last game of the SOCON, they did it. That's amazing, man.
It wasn't pretty, but you got the win. You were coaching right till the final seconds. Some of your team, your players are celebrating already. You didn't. What was this like for you, again, this whole road of the last 4 years, building this thing and watching people are in tears coming up to you right now?
It's surreal. The game, I wouldn't want it any other way. We talked about it before the game. I said it to somebody. I said, this is about to be a war. And one of my guys said, that's what we do. That's what we do, and that's what they do. They have soldiers, we have soldiers. That was a war. Sometimes basketball, not made to be pretty. It's made to see people's hearts. And you saw all those players out there, man, whether you know basketball or not, you saw their hearts. And those players out there, those guys over there celebrating, I saw their hearts for 3 or 4 years before this ever happened, man.
All right, you and I made a deal when you got hired. You remember what the deal was?
Slightly.
All right, the deal was I couldn't write or talk about your poker background until you got to the NCAA tournament. That's what you told me. I waited. I waited 4 years. Here we are. Tell me a little bit. Nobody knows this really. Professional poker player.
I can't say professional poker player or not. What I'll say is I went into the World Series. I did well. A lot of people have stories when they were younger playing poker. Most of them, it's kind of like chess. We know how it is. Most of those stories don't end very well, so there's not much of a story. My story was talked about because I was dominating in it. I was doing very well. And that's why that got out there, you know. But I'll tell you this, there's some things I learned in that. Basically, you got to make the right play over and over and over again, and that pays off to good results. Guess what? You carry that to basketball. Maybe one time you foul up 3 and you lose. But guess what? I'm going to tell you, over time, you're going to win a lot more than you lose. So I've learned a lot from both sides of it.
Well, listen, congrats. Enjoy the next, what do you got, about 6 days to enjoy yourself before you find out who you're playing?
Till Sunday. Selection Sunday, man. I've watched it every year of my life since I can remember. It's going to be fun when they call the Samford Bulldogs out to see where we're going.
Well, listen, it was great being here for this. It was great coming down. Unbelievable atmosphere. Your team is fun to watch. Your style is fun to watch. And honestly, one of the best stories in college basketball this year, going from a high school coach, Martin Newton, taking a chance on your ass, right? Took a chance on you.
That's one guy that I think that people got to really understand this. Samford had not been very successful in basketball well before Coach Newton got there, right? They had some good coaches, just had some down years, right? And obviously, they want to be a basketball school. His job's on the line. So what does he roll with? He rolled with his gut and hires a high school guy because he felt this was supposed to happen. I told Martin after the game, I pulled him over, just like his father, who was on the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. He's not here with us, but I'm sure he's watching down on this. And I asked him, I said, man, you had to make that hire, and we won 3 championships in 2 years. What you think he's thinking looking down on this right now? You think he'd be proud of his son? The courage that takes? Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
All right, congrats. Great seeing you, and enjoy. Have a good night. Don't stay out too late.
Oh, we were going to stay out really late.
The best month of the year is here, which is why you need to know that we are now partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 throughout the conference and NCAA tournament. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD150 and you'll get $150 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not that bet hits. Here's how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD150. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game, and you get $150 in free bets regardless of the outcome. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD150 when you sign up. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the conference tournaments and for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boosts, and what I love the most, a nice little parlay boost, as well as a ridiculous array of prop bets for anything that you could possibly imagine betting on in March and in early April. BetMGM is the king of the prop bet